Howdy do, how is you? We are excited. We thank you all for subscribing and coming on to us with the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and all your comments and stuff. We really appreciate that, and we love to hear what you think about our book. It's going like crazy, so hopefully you'll have a chance to have read it. You know, everybody's had a chance to be at home and stuff, and we are going to concentrate on some baking in the house since, hey, everybody's cooking, so we're going to be cooking in this kitchen, okay? Okay, so what we decided was, since everybody is at home and everybody loves pizza, well, most everybody, okay, we're going to do a real quick, fast pizza that you do not have to let rise and all this other stuff. So if you want easy, fast, instead of waiting on that dough to rise for an hour, this is easy. It's going to go straight to the oven. All right, so let's get started on our wonderful pizza. We're starting with a tablespoon of yeast, a teaspoon of sugar, and a teaspoon of salt, and we are going to add hot water, a cup of hot water, okay? And I just do it from the tap because it's really, really hot. I like mine hot. Okay, and just whisk that around, get it all dissolved. Okay, now we're gonna start mixing with about 2.5 cups of the flour. You're going to reserve some, only because you're going to need some to knead. Okay, is that a pun on words? Okay, doesn't have to be exact. You know me, guesstimating. Okay, so let's mix this up. It's going to be sticky. Okay. Now, once you get it to this point, you can add even a little bit more just to get it to where it's just a little bit easier to get out of your bowl and start kneading with. Yeah, that's good. But you see how it's still sticky? You want it still soft though. Okay. All right. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to throw me some flour on the table. And I like some flour. This was actually, I measured out about 3 cups of flour, okay? So what I'm going to do now is just to dump that. Okay. Okay, now we're going to knead for 5 minutes. Can you see? Okay. And the reason that I like my pile of flour there is so that I can add when I think I need it. Oh, there we go again. Knead. If you haven't ever kneaded before, all I'm doing is I'm taking the palms, below the palms of my hands, and all I'm doing is putting pressure on there and moving it, tossing it, doing like this, so that I'm just tossing it from, that way your hands, both of them are working. You get it done. But this, I think, actually, Alton Brown can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I think this releases the gases from the yeast, I think, or whatever. Anyway, it helps. Yeah, engages the gluten. All right, so now we are ready. This is what your dough looks like after having kneaded it for 5 minutes, okay? So now we're going to roll it out, okay? I'm going to throw some of that flour here. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and make it as round as possible and as big as possible, because then you don't have to stretch it when you get it in the pan. You still have to stretch some. Oh, this reminds me of the dough having to roll it out when we did our cinnamon rolls. Okay.
You might tell them it may look a little thin, but with the yeast in there, it'll...
Okay. Yes, this is a little bit thin, but with that yeast, you're going to have a nice crust. It's going to be between a medium thick crust and a thin crust. So let's get our pan and we're going to go ahead and put it in there. Well, that's okay. Okay. All right, so what we do now is I just go like this. And what you're going to do is you're kind of overlap it on your rim here. And just keep going around. See, you still have room for it to grow. Okay. And I tell you, even if you get a slit or you think you've, torn it and you're not going to be able to use it, that's not so. Dough is easily mended when it's at this stage.
You may tell them, you see how I'm not forcing it, I'm just bouncing it to let it do it on its own.
Yeah, we're not, I'm not trying to stretch it beyond its capability. I'm just, and not doing it at a real tough way of doing it, but we're stretching it to make our pie, pizza pie. Yep. Okay, so now we have, okay, see how that's just a little bit thin, but don't worry about it. If you absolutely are one of those obsessive people, get your dough and get it over there. I'm not an obsessive person, so we're going to leave it as is. Our rustic pizza pie. A lot of people start off with their sauce. Me, I like to put down some cheese. And luckily I found some mozzarella already sliced, ready to go. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put me on some pizza sauce. And if you don't have pizza sauce, if you have spaghetti sauce, go ahead and use spaghetti sauce. This particular one has a little bit of sausage flavoring in it, Italian sausage flavoring. But this is what I do, is I go and I try and get this like this. Now I will say, and I will brag on one company for their pizza sauce, and that is Best Choice. If you want a thick, rich pizza sauce, oh my goodness. Yum. Depending on your family and depending on how much they want, that's up to you. Now the real cheese comes. Some more mozzarella. And we're just going to load this little puppy up. Some people like to use a mixture, which is nice and it looks nice. But I'm using what I had. After all, just in case you just do this on the spur of the moment, use what you have and you won't believe what kind of pizzas you can come up with. Even if it's just vegetables and all kinds of stuff. Okay, now we're gonna load it up with some pepperoni, because that's what this family goes for. And as you can see, we're just building it, okay? Now, we have a couple who do not like the onions and green pepper. That would be my favorite before I even put this meat on there. But that's okay. Grandma's visiting today. So we'll do it for the grandkids. No onion. But we'll make sure we got lots of pepperoni. We can do that. Just fill it in, people. Fill it in. Okay, so once this is on there, of course, I have to put a little bit more on there. You're gonna say, oh my gosh, how much cheese does she need? Alright, so now we're gonna roll the crust up, because you want to have a pizza crust, right? So all I do is gather it up from the bottom and just kind of put it up forward to the whole pizza pie here. And I'm telling you, this is taking us, what, 10 minutes, something like that. That's all. And don't you know that would be a nice surprise for your family coming home? And it didn't take long. Didn't take long at all. Okay. And see, by doing this and by putting your sauce and your cheese all the way to the end, gets rolled up into that crust. Yum. You know, a lot of people throw their crust away, but if you got goodies in it, they won't be throwing it out, will they? Okay, so we're just going to go along, kind of pinch it along in here to make sure that it stays. And then we're going to get us a little bit of, it'd be nice if you had some olive oil. And we're just going to brush it with some oil. And then we're going to put some garlic powder. Now, if your family really goes for buttery and garlicky and all that kind of good stuff, when you put your olive oil on the, when you go to put your pizza dough on your pan before you start putting your sauce on, go ahead and brush your dough with the olive oil or butter and some more garlic and whatever, even before you get started. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're just going to take some garlic powder, a little bit of garlic powder. If you have pizza seasoning or whatever, we're just going to kind of sprinkle this, because garlic powder tends to be a little bit strong, so we don't want to put a whole lot. We're going to be able to smell this cooking. That's for sure. Okay, then get you some Parmesan. Sprinkle that on there. You're going to be saying, what that girl with that cheese? invented for to eat, right? Okay, kind of got a little heavy-handed there. Okay, all right. I see some green sprinkly or whatever, but hey, are we ready to go or are we ready to go? 400 for 25 to 30 minutes and let's eat. Okay. Look, people, look what we have made. Doesn't that pizza look wonderful? Now this is a $7 pizza. I figured out everything and this is about $7, but look at how big it is. If you compare this to a $7 pizza from the store, hey, who wouldn't want to eat this? And two, you can put on there whatever you want. Okay, so let's dive in, okay? All right. Yummy. Okay. See if we cut it enough. Okay. Oh, would you look at this? Oh, yeah. Look, 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 look. Oh. Are you ready to eat? I'm ready to eat. So, what do we know from this? We know that you can be the star of your kitchen and make a wonderful pizza like this in no time flat, okay? It maybe took us, what, 40 minutes maybe? 5 minutes prep, 5 minutes kneading, and we are good to go and we are ready for lunch. Yum! Okay, so hey, check us out. And hey, if you want to make, you can use the same with this dough recipe. You can make calzone, you can do a stromboli, but it is wonderful homemade food and it'll be wonderful. Your family will love it, okay? So, keep those ingredients dancing. Okay, we'll see you next time.